Welcome to Golf Ball Addict, and today we have another golf ball review. Today is the Callaway Supersoft Max. So I just got done reviewing the Callaway Supersoft not that long ago, and honestly, it's not that it was a bad golf ball, it just honestly left a lot to be desired, especially for the high price point. However, another golf ball, just like that one that's been highly requested, is the Max version of this. And you might be asking, okay, well, what exactly is the Max version of that? Well, essentially, this is the Callaway Supersoft, but there's a couple key features. One, it doesn't have that extremely weird coating that I didn't like on the Supersoft, you know, basically the DOW, the Dow Chemical, and all this other random jargon they put on there. This is just your normal tri-blend ionomer cover. And it does feel a lot different. It feels a little bit, cheap still, but it doesn't feel as cheap as that other one, and it doesn't feel as thick as that other one, which I think hopefully will help this golf ball out. But the other big factor of this one is it is a little oversized. This is actually bigger than a normal golf ball would be. Not by much. You can kind of tell the difference there. It's a little bit of a difference. It's subtle, but what that's designed to do is essentially give it a little bit more ball speed and get it a little higher in the air. So obviously this golf ball is aimed at beginners. It's aimed probably for the slower swing speed, so I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to be able to compress it. I might compress it a little bit too much. I have about a mid to high swing speed at about 92, 93 mile an hour with the driver. So we'll see how that goes. When I was on the website looking at some of the features and benefits here, I did find something kind of funny, and I'm not going to mention names or anything, but the top review that was literally at the top was a 1 out of 5 stars. Basically the review was upset because it says there is nothing that indicates these golf balls are oversized. Misrepresented, they are oversized without any mention of that on the site. What I don't like, oversized. Okay, which this is on Callaway's website, and the reason I found this funny is, without even reading here, let's just go into the features and the benefits here. I'm going to read you all the features and the benefits. Let's see if it says anything in there about being oversized. So number one, the oversized design is engineered. The oversized design. Oh wow, we didn't get very far, did we? The second word, actually, is oversized. So, guys, before you buy something, read the description. That's a lesson learned right there. That's a hard lesson learned. Read the description. But anyway, all jokes aside, interested to see how that does. Let's go ahead and get into the design of the golf ball. Of course, we know it is a little oversized, which first of all, you may be asking, or wondering, does this affect putting? It absolutely does. So my mother actually uses the women's version of this, the Callaway Riva. Great ball. It's one of her favorites. And on that one, it is a little bigger, so you will notice lip outs a little bit more. You wouldn't think that the oversized design would affect it that much, but trust me, it really does. You'll see lip outs a little bit more. You'll see, maybe hitting the flag stick and just kind of sticking and not going in just because it is a little bit bigger. So honestly, I've been recommending people, as far as I don't know the numbers on this yet, we haven't got to them, but as far as if you are going to use a golf ball like this, putt with something different. And yes, I understand that's technically against the rules, but for most golfers who are going to be using a golf ball like this, I don't think it matters too much. So definitely in that regard. But it does have the oversized look. Everything else looks good. It has a good dimple pattern. I like that. Callaway's logo is great. I touched on it in the previous video with the Supersoft. I love their Old English style. Great logo. And then if you look on the side here, Callaway's been doing all, these nice thick alignment tools. Again, just like with the Supersoft, you can even see it on the camera there. It's a great alignment tool. You can see lining up your ball really well. And this one says Max across it. It's a great design. I mean, it's really, tried and true, just your basic black and white design. Callaway's got a great logo, so they should definitely ride that. But overall, that's the design of it. Very basic, but does what it needs to do. Let's go ahead and get out to the chipping and putting green, and let's see how it does out there. All right, so overall thoughts as far as feel with chipping. So the Supersoft actually kind of felt a little bit dead, and it kind of did drag a little bit, but that's not the case here. This one actually, maybe it's the increased size, maybe because it's made of a little bit different of material, but this one definitely comes off very high, very easy, very soft. A lot of bouncy ball effect there. It actually, if you're a guy who prefers soft feel, this is going to be like heaven for you. It really just comes off the club with so much ease, and it goes right toward the target wherever you hit it. There's not much side spin because there's obviously not going to be much spin or checkup with this golf ball, but that's not always a bad thing because basically if you ever just want it to go right at the hole and you don't want it to cut or kind of go left on you if you mishit it, That's what this golf ball was doing. It was just going straight at the hole, so that was kind of refreshing. Honestly, it feels really good. It feels a lot better than the Supersoft, that's for sure. The first thing I notice is that the bigger golf ball does kind of mess with your putting a little bit. You're gonna see a couple more lip outs. I'm not usually a guy that has a lot of lip outs. I don't usually putt the golf ball hard enough for that to happen, but I did notice immediately I started getting a little bit more lip outs, and it's just basic science. The golf ball's a little bigger, the hole doesn't change size. You know, it'd be nice if the hole got a little bigger too, but it doesn't, so that will affect it. So if you're gonna use this golf ball, just be really careful. I would bring another golf ball to maybe the Supersoft, just regular version to putt with, unless you're gonna be playing with guys who are going to go on you about a rule change or a rule issue. They shouldn't, you know, if you're just around having fun, but basically I would say you would probably miss a couple putts, and definitely take the flag stick out for sure, because it'll definitely mess up there. But regardless of that, the feel feels really good. It's very soft, very bouncy ballish, but I will say there's a delay there. The bigger ball and having still a two-piece design, it almost reminded me of if you've ever taken a big yoga ball and you've slapped it really hard with your hand. It'll spring off, but there's a small delay, like where when you hit it, the yoga ball has to kind of compress for a second and then it springs off. That's how it reminded me on the putter here. There was just a slight millisecond delay where I would hit it and it felt like it was almost trying to catch up and then it would spring off. So ultimately I didn't have any issues with that. The golf ball still went where I wanted it to, but it was just a little weird to get used to that feeling because it was dragging. And it's not normally something I would look for in a golf ball as far as feel off the putter. So again, not bad, a pretty good performance, but the dragging might bother a couple of people, and definitely missing putts would. So I would be careful as far as being careful with the size for sure. All right, so your pretty standard two-ball stuff, nothing crazy there. The feel of the golf ball, of course, off the irons and driver, as you imagined, is very, very soft. But again, you know, it actually does feel softer than the Supersoft does, I think maybe because of the increased size. But overall, I mean, this golf ball has a 30 compression. It's very, very soft, very dead. There's not a lot of bouncy ball effect to it, but there is a little bit more bouncy ball effect than the Supersoft. The Supersoft felt really dead for some reason. I didn't like it at all, but this one actually does have a little bit of spring to it. Again, I'm not sure if it's just the oversizedness, maybe it's, you know, the difference in the cover, maybe the cover's making a difference of how it feels off the irons and feels off the driver, but this actually is a lot better, I can tell you. I already apparently clearly prefer this one. And it's not close. So hopefully the numbers are a little bit better too. So let's find out. Diving into the 9-iron, we're looking at 91.5 on the ball speed. That's perfectly in line with average. 126 on your total distance, 119.4 on your carry. Both those numbers are right in line with average, which isn't bad. And then a 22.9 launch, which again is just slightly above average. So about a mid-ball flight. So I didn't see anything drastic as far as a huge launch, you know. Obviously with slower swing speeds, it might launch a little bit higher. It might be designed to, but with my swing speed, it was actually just a mid-launch, and those numbers are really respectable, to be honest with you. They're when it comes to the Callaway Supersoft, they are even better than that. I got a couple extra yards and a couple extra mile an hour out of it, and the ball flight was pretty much the same. So that spring I was feeling a second ago is real. I am getting a little bit more pop off of it. Let's see if that continues with the 7-iron. And then the 7-iron going into, we got 6,252 RPM of spin, which is just slightly below average. So, I mean, it's kind of a mid-spinning golf ball. It's designed to be low spinning. So, again, because I have a little bit faster swing speed probably than it's intended for, I might be getting a little bit extra spin. But when you're still in the mid-zone, we're not in any line of danger. You're still going to get plenty of distance. 108.6, which is about 3.5 miles an hour faster than the Supersoft. Love that. The ball was really coming off well. 162.8, that's above average. 151.9, above average. And 18.4, which is another mid-ball flight. So very consistent there. I like that a lot. And I got a little bit more pop off of it. This one was even better. So even though the ball is designed for slower swing speeds, I'm still able to have some pretty good numbers there. I only wonder if now that we're getting into the hybrid and the driver, maybe I'll start to lose some distance there just because I might be compressing it too much. Getting into the 5 hybrid, just to find out, we're going to go ahead and start out with 4,888 spin. Now, the reason that is significant is because it is, I mean, roughly about 1,100, well, more than 11, almost 1,200 RPMs more than I got with the Supersoft. So again, maybe it's the oversized, maybe it's the different cover, but this golf ball, I can tell you, is already reacting really well. And something I touched on the Supersoft video, if you didn't see that one, was that Callaway has come out with this new blend of chemicals, and it's called a proprietary blend, and they use it for the cover of their golf ball. I hated it on the Supersoft. It was terrible. The durability was bad. I think, you know, they're trying to save money and cut cost, and this was the first time they really introduced that, and I was just not a fan of it. This one does not use that, and so that could be a big difference on why we're seeing a little bit better numbers there. Again, the feel was a lot better too, and I think that has a lot to do with it. But that's a lot more spin. The club was able to grip it a lot better and get that spin up in the air. I mean, almost 5,000. I'm going to stick a green pretty hard with a hybrid, and anytime I get that, I really like it. 118.6 on the ball mile per hour speed, which is above average. That's awesome. 191.3, 177.8, 17.9. So, okay, so interesting there. So, again, those numbers are above average, and that launch is actually very, very, very high. So this golf ball went really high in the air. It spun a lot more than my hybrids usually do, and I didn't lose any distance. I still had great distance numbers, so that's honestly really impressive. I did not expect that at all. I would not have guessed it. But I'm happy. That's awesome. So hopefully those numbers continue into the driver. Let's see if, you know, we can kind of go for 4 out of 4 here. 2,889 on the RPM with the driver. That's mid, maybe mid to slightly high. 250.6. Now, hold on. That can't be right. No, that's right. 250.6 on total distance. That is one of the farthest golf balls I've ever hit. I mean, I'm trying to find it. When was the last time I got 250 on a golf ball? Hold on a second. So sorry about that. I kind of got twisted around here because 250.6 is not only 13 more yards than I got with the regular Supersoft, but that's the farthest I've hit with a driver since I got the Mizuno clubs last year. I mean, I did hit 250 a couple times with the Cobra, but not that much. I mean, my record, I think, is 258 maybe. Yeah, 258's my record. So, and that was when I had the Cobra, which got a lot more ball speed and a lot more distance. 250.6 is nuts for a driver. That is fantastic, especially with a 2-piece golf ball that, you know, is for slow swingers and a 30 compression. Really impressive there. 137.6 on ball mile per hour speed. That is very fast. 230.4 with the carry, and then 16. It did have a decently high launch with the driver. Guys, those numbers are phenomenal. I mean, honestly, you know, already the golf ball had been performing really well across the board, and then we get to the driver, and I'm thinking it's going to take a hit a little bit because it's a softer golf ball. And on the contrary, this golf ball went forever. Those numbers are just fantastic across the board. I'm surprised. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, y'all. I'm surprised. I would not have guessed that. I mean, I had really bad luck with the Supersoft, and coming into this one, I just didn't really expect that a lot. I mean, I was hoping with the different cover and it being a little oversized, maybe it would be a little different, but we went from mediocre to average to one of the best I've tested off of the driver. I mean, that's fantastic. So Callaway really knocked it out the park with these numbers. I'm really impressed. I mean, there's not much more I can say. That's awesome. So now getting in real quick before I get to my closing thoughts, I do want to touch on the durability, and it is a lot better than the Supersoft. The Supersoft, well, now let me correct that. The Supersoft matte was perfect because the matte didn't have that thick coating on it, and it actually was pristine even though I had hit quite a few golf shots with it. This one is not, you can tell it's not as thick as that other one was with that coating, but the durability was honestly really good. You can see on the side there the Max is a little chipped off, so it's not perfect by any means. And it's also chipped off on the logo a little bit, and you can see some scratches, but when you feel the overall golf ball, it doesn't feel like much of it's really, you know, scraped. So I think it still would do good on putts. And I think it's still, you know, this is probably after 18 holes, so I would say it's definitely going to last you through a full round, no problem at all. Which for, you know, a cheaper 2-piece golf ball is really all you can ask for because most people will lose it by then. So honestly, I'd say like a 3 or a 3.5 out of 5. It's not perfect by any means, but it does get the job done. All right, so my closing thoughts here. So basically where I'm kind of at with these numbers are, first of all, the golf ball really impressed me. Now, granted, I was coming in with low expectations just because of the Supersoft, but all the numbers were above average, either average or above average or even well above average. I love the ball flight I got, to be honest with you. I think that slow swingers are going to have a very, very, very good time with this golf ball. I think it's going to help them. You know, it doesn't spin a lot as far as going left or right, so it goes relatively straight. I love the alignment tool. Honestly, there's just a lot of things to like. Now, granted, this golf ball is at the more expensive 2-piece point. It's $25 for a dozen. Golf balls don't really get much more expensive than that when it comes to the beginner two pieces, but I will say that this one's probably one of the only ones I've ever tested where I would recommend it even with that price. 25 isn't going to break anybody's bank when it comes to golf balls for sure. That's still half the price of, you know, your main AAA tour line golf balls. And this one actually really does have a lot of pop, to be honest with you. And while I was testing it, I mean, I was just really impressed all around, and there wasn't anything really bad about the golf ball. There was nothing bad to say. So if you are in the market for a two-piece golf ball and you happen to find one of these on the course, definitely give it a try or go buy a box. It's definitely a good one if you need to get a little bit more height with your shot, or if you're a slower swinger, or even if you're a moderate swinger. I had really good success with it. And honestly, you know, between the Supersoft and this one, it's not close. I would definitely skip out of that Supersoft. When you have something like this that's basically the same golf ball, but they made a couple, you know, key changes to it and it performs this much better, I would just avoid that Supersoft altogether. The Max is the real deal. So definitely gets my recommendation. I love that. It's good to see that because I like Callaway a lot, and I was hoping they wouldn't start going down a little bit. I was hoping that, you know, they would continue on the upswing. So after that last one that wasn't very good, I'm glad to see we're on the right track by going back up. Guys, as always, keep watching to keep saving, keep learning. More ball reviews coming your way. 2023 is going to be awesome. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, like, comment. That kind of stuff really makes YouTube pay attention to my channel, so I would appreciate it. And we'll see you on the next review.